All right, welcome back to another video. So I'm here in VR, just lounging around. Kind of not exactly committed to what I'll be doing. I have been reading the AI book, which has been interesting, but I question the value I get uh, from just sitting and reading a textbook. Like, if I'm not in a like if I'm not in an educational program or like a boot camp or something. Like, I just feel like some people might be impressed that you've read a textbook, but like how much of a textbook are you really going to remember in the end, um, when you need to? It's not like I'm memorizing the whole textbook, and then like, what else could you be doing? Like, reading a textbook, I think a, is can be good, but I think in this day and age, with there being these vibe coding tools released, I think people should be spending a lot of time vibe coding because it's just it's fun. It's like the first time where you can actually like very quickly get things off the ground and like come up with ideas. So the first thing I'm gonna do in this video is go to my GitHub. All right, and then I've got three vibe coding projects here. Um, uh, the first one is really cool because I think it could be pretty profitable. It could bring in quite a bit of money for me. So what it is it's a curated digital archive and immersive VR experience that chronicles the evolution of communication methods from pre-internet eras to the modern age. You could sell this to a museum, for instance. I'm sure like museums pay for things, or you could just like you try to get into an art gallery, right? It's like you're developing a product specifically for a business to buy. You're going to sell this to like a museum or an art gallery or something like that. So I think that right there is a damn good idea of something to build with vibe coding is something that like you could sell to a museum. So let's look at let's start there. Let's do communications museum. And the really cool thing that you could do is yeah, so here's like the Connections Museum in Seattle. Oh yeah, perfect. So look at all this gear here used to for communications before the internet era. So what you can do is you can basically build an extension to some of the exhibits that the museum already has. So like the museum has a panel switch. It has uh, crossbar switching system. So it has switching systems for old uh, communications uh, systems. So you could have in your uh, digital archive and immersive VR experience these devices, and then either before or after putting on the goggles, the people can see the actual device themselves. So I could imagine that being valuable to a museum enough for them to buy it. So like just for vibe coding a immersive VR experience that is based on the things a museum already has in their collection, I'm sure you could easily net $1,000 for that, maybe even up to 10,000, and you just sell them your immersive VR experience, and their people who go to the museum can put on their goggles, and they can immerse themselves in an era where this panel switch district selector frame uh, was in production. Cool. So let's start there. So let's take this link here and copy it. So Control C. Then let's go to my project here. So agents README. So let's go to the agents.md file. So these are based on guidelines from, okay, so there we go. So we can tell the project overview, code style, build and test instructions. Okay, additional context. Let's make a new section here. We're gonna say uh, we'll just say yep, two of these. Say Graham's notes. Okay, and then we'll say okay. And I don't have a voice to text. Let me just do a voice to text. I'll just open up a new chat here just to use voice to text. I think a great way for this immersive VR experience to sell would be to base it off of the collection of existing museums. For instance, in the link above, you can see the Wikipedia article for the Connections Museum in Seattle, which has a lot of vintage telephone equipment in it. So you can create an immersive VR experience where people would live in an era where this telephone equipment was used, and you can walk people through using the equipment. You can put it all into perspective too, right? Because like these old places where they had like the wind up silly gear, like you can start there, and then you can have them like travel down the wire and then like end up at this bigger like switching board piece of gear. And then when they take and then you can even say like, okay, now take the goggles off and look to your right, and there you have it. In the museum they have the actual gear that the immersive experience was showing off. All right, so I just needed the voice to text there. Um, okay, all right, and then let's copy this and let's just talk a little bit about like pricing. Like, is this feasible? So we're gonna do just paste that in there. Okay. Let's get GitHub up again. Another thing of GitHub. Go back to Chronicles of Communication. This is the one I'm really excited about because like this whole idea of like vibe coding something, it's like, oh, you're gonna sell this to a museum, and like they'll be happy to have it because it's another way essentially of interacting with the gear they already have. They just pay an extra, you know, trivial amount to them that doesn't matter, and then they don't have to buy another piece, right? They can just like get more out of the pieces they already have. Like I'm sure it's less expensive to like I'm sure you can find a pricing structure where it's less expensive just to buy an immersive VR experience that allows people to interact with the things you already have in a more meaningful way than it is to like get a new like museum quality sort of thing. So let's have a conversation with the AI about that. So I'm gonna prime it up with this, see what it says, and then I'll just have a natural language conversation with it rather than text based. Yeah. Okay. So all right, I just want to have a brief conversation with you about this idea more broadly. Let's start here. So the idea is I'm going to vibe code, VIBE. So what that means is using AI to write code that I couldn't write myself. And what I'm going to create is immersive VR experiences uh, that I will sell to museums. And that way, a museum can actually save money because I'm sure like an exhibit. So like for example, the Connections Museum in Seattle, they have vintage telephone equipment. So like, what does it cost for them to get a new piece of vintage telephone equipment? It might be difficult, and not only that, it might be limited or impossible for them to get it. So let's say they found a perfect piece of equipment and it costs $10,000 and they can't afford it. They only have $1,000 to spend. So what I could do is sell them an immersive VR experience for $1,000 that takes an existing piece of equipment they already have and basically tells you a immersive gives you an experience of a life when that equipment was used. What do you think about that idea?
Your idea leverages existing assets to create engaging educational experiences at a fraction of the cost of physical artifacts. It makes sense for museums with limited budgets and space. By offering a virtual way to experience rare or fragile equipment, you help preserve the historical context and broaden access for visitors. The idea also opens revenue streams for you and adds value for the museums. It's a practical, scalable approach to enhancing museum exhibits.
Yeah, and then you can like touch the equipment, right? Like I think that's probably one of the main like challenges of a museum is like people want to, especially kids, they want to like touch the equipment, right? So like if it's VR, they can kind of like poke around, like twist some of the knobs and stuff, and like just have a much better experience. And then the cool thing is like that we know that then it comes with that credibility, right? Because then you take the VR goggles off, and there it is. It's not just some make believe thing. Like the actual piece is in the museum.
Exactly. That tangible link between the virtual and physical artifacts reinforces the educational experience. Visitors can interact with a virtual replica without risking damage to the real equipment, and then see the actual piece, deepening their appreciation and understanding. It combines the best of both worlds, immersive hands-on learning with the authenticity and credibility of physical exhibits. It also solves the problem of limited physical interaction in museums, making the exhibits more engaging, especially for younger audiences.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, like I'm pretty sure it would be way cheaper to buy, a vibe coded immersive VR experience than it would be like a whole new exhibit. And you made a good point too, space. Like, all it costs you in space is like, a set of VR goggles like hung against the wall and like, a very small like a stool for someone to sit in while they're doing it, like instead of like having to like open up a new wing of the museum.
Exactly. It drastically reduces overhead costs. Instead of expanding physical space or acquiring expensive artifacts, museums can invest in a compact, versatile VR setup. This not only saves money, but also allows them to rotate or update experiences easily. Plus, the immersive nature of VR can attract a tech-savvy audience and make the museum more appealing. It's a win-win. Museums get cost-effective, space-saving, and engaging exhibits, while visitors enjoy a richer, more interactive learning experience.
Hell yeah! So it looks like the Connections Museum in Seattle by the Telecommunications History Group is alive and well today. So let's find like the coolest exhibit there, or like let's find a piece of equipment there, and let's build a immersive VR experience based on that. So it looks like they have. I'm not. What do you think is like their most famous exhibit?
The Connections Museum's most famous exhibits include the 1923 panel switch from the Rainier Parkway Exchange and the 1942 number 1 crossbar from the Lakeview Exchange. These pieces highlight the evolution of telephone technology and would be ideal focal points for an immersive VR experience.
Well, here's the funny thing. It looks like they already have this. It's such a good idea that they already have it. It's called online exhibits.
That's a good sign. It means there's already a proven interest in these types of experiences. You can take inspiration from what they've done online and elevate it with a fully immersive VR layer, offering an even more engaging and interactive dimension. This could complement their existing digital offerings and attract a broader audience looking for a more immersive experience.
Oh, hell yeah, you are right about that, sir.
Glad we're on the same page. Leveraging their existing content and enhancing it with immersive VR could create a compelling and unique offering that stands out.
So, like, what do you think they would pay for that? Like, how would they get the money to like pay for it? And realistically, like, how much do you think this would be likely to sell? Like, how much do you think it would sell for?
Museums often have budgets for new exhibits, grants, or sponsorships from educational and cultural foundations. Pricing could vary depending on the complexity and customization of the VR experience. For a mid-sized museum, a high-quality immersive VR exhibit could realistically sell in the range of $10,000 to $50,000 depending on the scope and scale. Funding could come from museum endowments, government cultural grants, or partnerships with tech companies interested in educational outreach. If positioned as a cost-effective alternative to physical expansions or rare acquisitions, it could be an attractive investment for many institutions.
Hell yeah. See, that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for those kinds of numbers. Like even for 10,000, like then you just have to make 10 of them in a year and you're good. And like there's so like how many museums all around the world would you estimate that there are that could afford to pay $10,000 for an immersive VR experience?
There are thousands of museums worldwide, with a significant portion having the budget for exhibit enhancements. Major and mid-sized museums, especially in North America, Europe, and parts of Asia, could likely allocate $10,000 or more for a unique immersive VR experience. Even capturing a small fraction of this market could be very lucrative. The demand for innovative, cost-effective solutions in the museum sector makes this a promising opportunity.
Oh hell yeah. And like I can imagine it'd be really easy to get ongoing customers. Like some major museum, that has like thousands of things in there, of exhibits. You could just keep going back to them every year and make a new immersive experience for them every year. In fact, they might have so much they want you to make a few at a time. So like I could see this easily becoming a $100,000 a year opportunity because you start out by creating 10 10 a year and then you sell each of those 10 for $10,000. And the thing is, like, that's $10,000, right? Like you could probably find museums that would pay more. Even if they pay less, you get your foot in the door. And like with vibe coding, like you could probably do it pretty like just in a weekend. You could bang out because we already have in the telecommunications history group, like we already have telecommunications, like the 1931 14th Street Historic Building. Like we already have, a lot of like an online display of that, right? So like a lot of the like the research, the history is like already done. Like that's the hard stuff, is like actually like having real like history on it. Like just building the immersive experience in the era of vibe coding shouldn't be that hard.
Absolutely. Once you establish a solid working relationship with museums and demonstrate the value of these immersive VR experiences, securing recurring contracts would be much easier. The initial groundwork of historical research and digital modeling can be leveraged across multiple exhibits, making future projects more efficient. With the rise of AI-assisted development, you can streamline the production process and scale your offerings quickly. This could definitely turn into a lucrative and sustainable business model.
Awesome. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Are you familiar with your Codex, Codex feature?
Yes, I'm familiar with Codex. It's a tool that can generate and assist with code, making development faster and more efficient. What do you need done with it?
So I want you to do a task. Well, this is what I want you to do. I want you to describe a task based on what we've discussed, and the task is going to be we're going to update the README file. The README file is going to is to outline this vision. So like I want you to so like the telecomhistory.org/exhibitsmain.html, I want you to include in that. I want you to include, yeah, so I want you to include other ones too, not just the ones we mentioned. So I want you to put some effort into building out a task description for Codex to update the README, and whatever else is necessary, the agents.md, whatever you think is best, so that we can put everything we've discussed into fruition.
Understood. I'll create a task description for Codex to update the README and agents.md files to incorporate the vision of creating immersive VR experiences for museums. The task will reference the telecomhistory.org exhibits and outline the key elements and goals discussed. This will serve as a clear and actionable blueprint for implementing the project.
Okay, proceed. Oh, where is my here it is, Chronicles of Communication. Perfect. I love Codex. All right, so it's going to take a while for it to do that. So let's just keep talking while it's doing that. Awesome, thanks. So yeah, I created that task for it and it's working on it. So let's just keep talking in the meantime while it's doing that.
Sounds good. While it's working, we can flesh out any other details or brainstorm more ideas for the project.
Well, let's do this. So I want you to gather up a list of potential museums that we could go after.
Here are some potential museums with telecommunications exhibits: Connections Museum, Seattle; National Technical Museum, Prague; Science Museum, London; Dakota Prairie Museum, South Dakota; Dakota Central Telephone Company Artifacts; Signals Museum, Huntsville, Alabama. These institutions could be strong candidates for immersive VR collaborations.
Write out a prompt for your deep research feature that is relevant to everything we've been discussing in this conversation and anything else you think is important. Okay, perfect. Now do the necessary research, please. Okay, so let's do worldwide. I think worldwide would be fine. It's just a bigger market, which would be nice. But the thing is, I'm from the US, so like dealing with multiple languages would be kind of annoying. But it's a vibe coding project. It's AI, right? So like it should be able to do multiple languages just fine. So yeah, let's focus on international as well. Okay, so regarding telecommunication history, no, other historical, yeah, expand, expand, expand. We don't need to be pigeonholed into telecommunication history. In fact, what I want your research to determine is like the low-hanging fruit, right? Like what could we bang out and potentially get to the sales stage like by the end of this year, 2025, and get $10,000 in the bank because because of this idea. Like I want you to find like the best candidate for that. Okay, and then the pricing revenue models. I don't know. The thing is, like, I want a proof of concept, so I think we should probably start a little bit small. We should try to get like at least $1,000, preferably like $10,000 by the end of 2025. So like, I think it's okay if we start small, but eventually we want to like I want this to be like a project that like makes a lot of money for me. Like I'm not just like purely interested in like, making money at all costs. Like I want this to be valuable for the museum and I want this to be something that really adds to the experience of going to a museum. But in the end, I want money, right? Because like money is important. There's literally billionaires out there right now that are like using money to try to live to like 200 years old. Like money nowadays can buy you like so much more than at any other time in history. Like I just want money because like you can do so much with it these days. All right, so now it's doing the research, which is good. So we've got it doing a bunch of stuff now. We've got it updating that README. We've got it doing research more. So, um, okay, so now it added, let's see what it did. So it added a to the table of contents, and it said immersive VR exhibits, missions to build AI generated. Yes, 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 I love it. I love it. Yeah, so perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. 100 models. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, look at this. This is like what museum out there wouldn't pay for this? Like here's what you get when you walk into the museum. So you walk into the museum, all these machines are around you, cool. So now you walk up to a machine. There's goggles hanging on the wall next to it, which is going to cost. But I mean, they can use like Quest 1 goggles. They could even use like, Google Cardboard. Like it doesn't have to be like the museums already give out like tablets, right? So like they could just have like cheap smartphones and Google dock things. Like it should be pretty easy. So then you go up to this like big machine. It's like, whoa, this is cool. And then you see goggles, and they're like, put the goggles on. So now you go through the office where this machine would be, and now you can like travel along. You don't even have to be a human in this world. You can be like an ant and travel along the wire tunnel. You could be an employee operating the switchboard as the employees would do, and this could be based on like the manual for the switchboard, like the instructions or like any like notes that are left over from the employees. and then after you've seen all that, you t take off the goggles and you look at the exhibit with fresh eyes. It's like, oh, I never noticed that knob there before. That's the knob that allowed them to, like that. It's like, like, damn, yeah, push. Oh, there's more. There's more. Let's see here. Oh, the agents. Okay, yeah. So we outlines prompt patterns. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that's fine. Whatever. All right, let's see how the research paper is going. All right, looking good. Wouldn't that be cool too? Like, yeah, the Smithsonian Apollo, so like space missions. So like you would walk on the moon yourself, or like you could pilot the like there's a story where they like fix something with duct tape. Like it's like the Apollo duct tape story. Yeah, so Robert Smiley cobbled together an apparatus of cardboard, plastic bags, and duct tape that saved the Apollo 13 crew in 1970 after an explosion crippled the spacecraft as it sped toward the moon. Like, you could be like, how many times do people say, "Oh, I wish I could be a fly in the room during that"? It's like you can with these immersive VR experiences. Like this is what I'm trying to this is the product I'm trying to produce and sell. Like this is a whole like anyone can see the value in this, and you could do this vibe coding. Like I guarantee you can get something really good just vibe coding, where a museum is like, damn, like we want that. Like we just have like like I'm sure for most museums, even like small local museums, they just have like $1,000 just like from a grant that like they haven't used that they just don't know what to do with. And like some of them, if they're like non-profits, like they have to get rid of it anyway for something. Like I guarantee you that's like a common problem. Let me ask the Okay, so let me ask you this. So let's say there's like small museums or like nonprofits. So is it a common problem that these museums might have where like they get money coming in from a grant or something like that, and they just have like $1,000 like extra that they don't know what to do with? Oh, are you there? Can you hear me? Ah, this is why I start most of my conversations with just a quick like, "Are you there? Hello." Hey, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, so let me ask you this. So, like small local, like or like nonprofit museums that like are on a smaller scale, that get money from like grants and stuff like that. Do you think it's a common problem they have that they have like extra money left over from the grant that like they don't know how to spend?
It's not common for small local or nonprofit museums to have leftover grant money. Grants typically come with strict guidelines on how the funds must be spent, and the money is usually allocated for specific projects or operational costs. If there is unspent money, it's often required to be returned or reallocated according to the grantor's rules. Proper fund management and reporting are essential to avoid any issues.
Okay, I guess I was completely wrong about that. Well, tell me more about reallocating.
Reallocating typically refers to redistributing or reassessing the allocation of
Oh,
resources
hold on a second.
to maximize efficiency or return.
All right, I'm back. So I gotta switch to doing something else. So let me close this down here. So it's still doing the research paper. The task is complete and merged in. Uh, yeah, I was in the middle of a conversation with it. So it sounds like um, some of my idea of how this money would come in is like kind of flawed. Um, but yeah, I guess I'm fine for now. So that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.